Jake Miller stared at the rusted ship in the hangar, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. It was smaller than he had hoped, nothing like the sleek freighters he had seen in the news holo ads. The paint was chipped, the metal dented, and parts of the hull had deep scratches that looked like they had been in a fight with an asteroid or something worse. Yet, somehow, it felt alive. "Are you sure about this?" Lily Grant asked, her voice trembling a little. She stood next to him, hands gripping the railing of the hangar platform. Her eyes moved across the hull, trying to imagine life inside this decrepit thing. "It's barely worth the scrap price, Jake. We could lose everything." Jake gave her a half smile. "I know, but look at it this way. We can fix it. Even if it's junk, it's ours. And it's better than begging for a seat on someone else's freighter." He ran a hand over the cold metal. "I'm mend. Besides, I've got a feeling about this ship." Lily raised an eyebrow. "A feeling?" Jake shrugged. "You know. Sometimes, you just know. Sometimes, junk has surprises." The two of them had scraped together every credit they had earned from small jobs in the outer colonies. Jake had worked hauling salvage through asteroid belts, and Lily had been a mechanic's assistant. Owen Parker, a friend of Jake's from childhood, had convinced them to pool their credits together. He was quieter than Jake, a thinker. Someone who studied ship schematics for hours and understood how every system should work. "You know," Owen said from the other side of the hangar. "I've seen ships like this before. Mostly rust buckets, with nothing inside but broken engines and a dead AI. But this one," he paused, squinting at the hull. "There's something different here. I don't know what it is yet, but it doesn't feel entirely dead." Jake laughed. "Exactly. Maybe it's luck. Maybe it's fate. Either way, it's ours now." They signed the papers with the hangar's administrator, a tired man with half his teeth missing, and the ship officially became theirs. Once the keys were in Jake's hands, he felt a rush of pride. The ship's name had been long scratched off, replaced with what looked like a series of numbers. Not that it mattered. Jake already knew it deserved a new name. "Rusty," Lily said suddenly, and the name stuck instantly. The interior was dark and smelled of old fuel and metal. The lights flickered as Jake pushed the control panel buttons, and dust floated in tiny clouds as they walked through the narrow corridors. The ship's engine room was full of broken machinery and dangling wires. A thin layer of grime covered everything. Yet, beneath it all, Owen could see potential. "This is bad," Lily said, stepping over a puddle of what looked like old coolant. "Really bad." "Exactly," Jake said with a grin. "But fixable and profitable." They spent the next few hours checking every system they could reach. Life support hummed faintly, a weak but steady sound, like the ship itself was breathing. The navigation computer flashed irregularly, but it was still responsive. Jake ran his fingers over the controls, imagining what it would be like to jump into hyperspace in this piece of junk. When they opened the cargo bay, something caught Owen's eye. "Wait," he said, crouching down. "Do you see this?" Jake and Lily moved closer. Embedded in the metal walls of the cargo bay were strange crystals. They glowed faintly, almost like veins of light running through the ship. The shapes weren't regular. Some looked like jagged teeth, others like bubbles frozen in metal. "What is it?" Lily asked, reaching out to touch one. The crystal was cool, almost like glass, and it pulsed faintly under her fingertips. Jake frowned. "I don't know. Minerals? Some kind of alien tech, maybe?" Owen shook his head. "I've never seen anything like this in a human ship, and it's alive." "Alive?" Lily echoed. "Yes," Owen said slowly. "I mean, look. See how it pulses? It reacts to your touch. That's not normal. That's not metal. Not mineral. It's something else." Jake leaned closer. Owen nodded, Something like that. It's been grown into the ship, I think. Maybe the ship swallowed it at some point. Who knows how long it's been in there? The three of them stood in silence for a moment, staring at the strange living mass. The lights flickered again, and a soft hum filled the cargo bay. It wasn't mechanical, it was something deeper, almost like the heartbeat of the ship itself. Maybe we should leave it alone, Lily said finally. I mean, what if it's dangerous? Jake shook his head. Dangerous or not, it's ours now. And if it's alive, well, maybe it can help us fix Rusty faster than we could alone. Owen frowned. We have to be careful. We don't know what it wants. But I agree. This is an opportunity. Over the next few days, they started cleaning the ship and making basic repairs. The strange living crystal grew slightly when they fed the engines with energy from the core. It seemed to expand when the ship was active and shrank when systems were offline. It responded to every sound, every vibration, almost like it was learning about them. One night, while Jake and Lily were sleeping in the small bunks, Owen stayed in the cargo bay, scanning the mass with portable sensors. He was amazed by what he saw. The crystals formed tunnels inside the ship, channels where unknown minerals moved as if flowing like water. Tiny fragments broke off and reattached themselves in seconds. It was self-repairing, self-growing, and somehow intelligent. I've never seen anything like this. Owen whispered to himself. It's not just alive. It's thinking. Suddenly, the lights in the cargo bay went out. The hum grew louder, resonating through the metal walls. Owen froze as the crystals pulsed bright blue, casting shadows on the walls. The pulse felt like a warning, like the ship itself was aware of his presence. Whoa, easy, Owen said aloud. We're not here to hurt you. Then, a small piece of the crystal detached and floated toward him. It stopped a few inches from his face and hovered there, glowing softly. Owen's breath caught in his throat. It knows me, he said, voice trembling. Or maybe it's feeling me. Back in the bunks, Jake and Lily woke to the faint blue glow spilling from the cargo bay. They rushed out to see Owen standing there, hands raised slightly, and the floating crystal in front of him. What is it doing? Jake asked, astonished. It's responding, Owen said. I think it knows we're not a threat. And it's showing us it's alive. For hours, they watched. The ship seemed to move subtly, almost like it was breathing. The walls expanded and contracted, creating small openings, tunnels, and strange geometric patterns. It was alive, and it was learning about them as they learned about it. We have no idea what we bought, Lily said softly, awe in her voice. This isn't a junk ship. This is something else. Entirely. Jake smiled, feeling the thrill of discovery. Exactly. And just think, if we can understand it, we could do anything. Explore anywhere. Mine anything. Even make Rusty into the fastest, smartest ship in the galaxy. Owen hesitated. Or we could die trying. This thing isn't just a ship. It's alive, and we don't know what it wants yet. We have to be careful. Oh, Owen. Jake nodded, but the fire in his eyes was unstoppable. I know. But that's why we took the risk. That's why we didn't settle for scraps. We want adventure. And Rusty just gave us a big one. Over the next few weeks, the crew began to communicate with the living mass. Not in words, not like a human conversation, but through vibrations, light pulses, and gestures. They discovered that it could manipulate gravity inside the cargo bay, create small storage pockets, and even filter raw materials from empty space debris. Every day brought new surprises. Pieces of the ship would rearrange themselves, creating rooms or tunnels they didn't know existed. Strange crystals would glow brighter when someone was near, It reacted to sounds, motion, and even emotions. Jake, Lily, and Owen were careful to be gentle, patient, and respectful. One evening, as the three sat in the makeshift control room, the ship's hum grew stronger. The walls shimmered, almost like water, and small fragments of crystal moved toward the center of the cargo bay. It's trying to tell us something, Owen said, eyes wide. What do you think? Jake asked. I don't know yet. But whatever it is, it wants us to follow it. Maybe deeper into the ship. Maybe somewhere out there in space. Lily swallowed. Out there? You mean, like, taking Rusty for a jump? In this condition? Jake laughed. Oh, come on. It's alive. It chose us. And it's showing us possibilities we never imagined. If this is the start of an adventure, I say we take it. The living asteroid inside Rusty pulsed brightly, almost like it was agreeing. And for the first time, the three of them felt that thrill, that shiver, of stepping into the unknown. They were no longer just three humans with a junk ship. They were explorers, partners with something alien, something alive, something powerful, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The days after discovering the living mass inside Rusty were unlike anything Jake, Lily, and Owen had ever experienced. Every moment on the ship was full of surprises, and each surprise brought both excitement and caution. Rusty was no longer just a ship, it was a partner, a creature that responded to their presence, their emotions, and even their intentions. Jake stood in the narrow corridor near the engine room, watching the strange crystal formations move like liquid. They twisted and flowed, forming new patterns every time someone passed. He ran his hand over one of the veins of glowing crystal, feeling a warmth he couldn't explain. It's amazing, he said softly. I've worked on ships for years, but I've never seen anything like this. It's alive. Really alive. Lily leaned against the wall, watching the walls shimmer. Yeah. But we still don't know if it's friendly all the time. What if it decides we're a threat tomorrow? Owen shook his head. It's not like a normal animal. It's smart, but it's not human. It reacts to us now because we've been careful, patient. If we rush, if we force it, it could fight back or worse, leave us stranded somewhere we don't want to be. Jake laughed. Stranded somewhere we don't want to be? That's the point of Rusty. That's the adventure. They spent hours exploring the cargo bay, discovering tunnels and hidden compartments that the living mass had created. Some of the tunnels were small and cramped, almost like they were made for creatures much smaller than humans. Others were large enough to walk through, with walls of glowing crystal that seemed to shift and rearrange themselves as they moved. Look at this, Owen said, pointing at one of the tunnels. It's like the ship is thinking ahead. It's creating rooms and passages we didn't ask for. It's adapting to us, making itself more useful. Jake grinned. I told you this junk ship was special. It's not just alive, it's learning. Lily shook her head in disbelief. Learning? It's a ship. Ships don't learn. This isn't just a ship, Owen said, his voice quiet with awe. It's something new, something no one has seen before, and it's choosing to work with us. As the days passed, they learned more about how to communicate with Rusty. They discovered that speaking softly near the crystal veins caused small reactions, pulses of light, shifts in gravity, and changes in the shape of tunnels. Movement and vibrations also affected it. If they walked slowly and carefully, it responded with smooth expansions of space. If they ran or slammed doors, it contracted, as if annoyed. One morning, Jake decided to test the limits. Let's see if it can do more than just make tunnels, he said. Let's see if it can help us gather resources. They ventured to one of the outer windows, where tiny asteroids floated past. Rusty hummed softly, and the crystals in the cargo bay pulsed as if listening. Jake extended his hand toward the controls and thought about reaching out to one of the asteroids. To their surprise, a section of the cargo bay extended, creating a platform with soft, glowing edges. A small piece of the crystal reached toward the asteroid, pulling in a chunk of rock. It vibrated and hummed, and when it was done, the rock was inside the cargo bay, broken down into valuable minerals. Lily's eyes widened. It just mined that asteroid? Owen nodded slowly. It's adapting to our thoughts. It can do more than we imagined. If we work with it carefully, we could explore and gather materials without ever touching a tool. Jake laughed. We just bought a junk ship, and now we have a living mining machine. I can't believe our luck. But with the excitement came caution. Rusty was learning quickly, and its intelligence seemed to grow each day. It wasn't just reacting, it was predicting. Owen noticed that when they tried to test new ideas, the ship would already shift slightly in anticipation, preparing itself. One evening, as they prepared to dock at a small station for supplies, the ship pulsed in a way none of them had seen before. The entire interior shimmered, and the gravity shifted slightly. Owen ran scans and frowned. It's sensing something out there, he said. It's aware of the station, of the ships around us. It's cautious. Jake raised an eyebrow. Cautious? We haven't even approached yet. Lily's hands flew over the controls. Maybe it knows danger is coming. Or maybe it just doesn't trust other ships. We've seen what humans can do. Why wouldn't a living ship be careful? When they finally approached the station, a small freighter drifted lazily nearby. Rusty pulsed brightly, almost like a warning. The freighter's sensors picked up the unusual energy patterns, and it altered its course to give them space. That's incredible, Owen whispered. It's defending us without us even asking. Jake grinned. I told you, Rusty has our backs. Inside the cargo bay, the crystals rearranged themselves overnight, forming compartments that could store minerals more efficiently and tunnels that allowed the crew to move faster. Rusty was not just alive, it was improving itself, anticipating needs they hadn't even thought of. Over time, the crew discovered that Rusty could communicate in subtle ways. Pulses of light, vibrations through the floor, even the movement of crystal fragments conveyed information. It was a language, slow and careful, but the more they paid attention, the more they understood. One night, Owen stayed in the cargo bay after everyone else had gone to sleep. He placed his hands on the crystal walls and concentrated, thinking about a safe route through the asteroid belt they had been exploring. Slowly, the tunnels shifted and expanded, creating a path that was wider, smoother, and clearly designed to protect the ship. It's listening, Owen whispered to himself. It's learning from my thoughts. When Jake and Lily woke the next morning, Owen shared what he had discovered. Rusty isn't just responding to us. It's anticipating. It's thinking ahead, like it knows what we want before we do. Jake smiled. That's perfect. That means we can trust it even more. We're not just exploring. Rusty is guiding us. Lily nodded, though her expression was still cautious. Guiding us is one thing, but we have to remember, it's alive. It might have its own plans. We can't assume it's on our side forever. Owen agreed. We have to stay careful, but also patient. If we push it too fast, we could lose its trust. Right now, it wants to work with us. That's our advantage. The next challenge came sooner than they expected. While navigating through a dense asteroid belt, they encountered a small patrol ship from a mining corporation. The ship's sensors picked up Rusty's unusual energy patterns immediately. Within minutes, a transmission came through. Unregistered vessel, the voice said, flat and mechanical. Identify yourself and submit to inspection. Cargo and systems must be declared. Failure to comply will result in forceful engagement. Jake frowned. They want to scan Rusty? That's bad. Owen nodded. If they scan it, they'll see it's alive. They won't understand it, they'll probably try to take it. We can't let that happen. Lily's hands tightened on the controls. What do we do? Jake took a deep breath. We do what Rusty does best. We move. The ship hummed, and the walls of the cargo bay shimmered as Rusty responded. Gravity shifted inside the corridors, and the crystals rearranged themselves to reinforce the hull. The freighter twisted and turned in ways that seemed impossible, moving through the asteroid field as if it were part of the rocks themselves. The patrol ship fired, small energy bolts that struck the outer hull. Rusty absorbed the impacts, redistributing force through its crystalline structure. It pulsed in response, creating small shockwaves that pushed asteroids into the path of the attackers, forcing them to retreat. Jake, Lily, and Owen watched in amazement. The junk ship they had bought was now a living weapon, using the environment and itself to defend its crew. When the patrol ship finally retreated, Rusty's glow dimmed slightly, as if it were calming down. The three humans were silent, catching their breath. That was incredible, Lily said finally. We didn't just escape. We didn't even touch the weapons. And we won. Jake laughed, a mix of relief and excitement. I knew Rusty was special. But this is beyond anything I imagined. Owen nodded, still staring at the pulsating crystals. It's not just special, it's alive. And it's choosing to help us. That's something no one else has. The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but we have a living ship on our side. In the days that followed, the crew became more confident. They learned to move with Rusty, anticipating its reactions, and letting it guide them through hazards. They began mapping the tunnels and compartments it created, discovering areas that could store more minerals, small living spaces, and even a section that could grow plants using the ship's internal light and energy. The living asteroid mine inside Rusty was changing their lives. It was giving them resources, protection, and a bond unlike anything they had known. But it was also a responsibility. They had to be careful, respectful, and patient. And deep down, each of them knew that Rusty was preparing them for something bigger, something they couldn't see yet, something that would change their place in the galaxy forever. For the first time in their lives, Jake, Lily, and Owen were not just humans in space. They were partners with something alien and alive. They were explorers in a living ship, facing a galaxy that had never seen anything like them before. And the adventure was just beginning. Rusty moved through the asteroid belt like a living thing, shifting and bending as if it could feel the paths and gaps before the humans even saw them. Jake, Lily, and Owen had begun to trust the ship completely. They had learned its rhythms, the way the crystals pulsed when it was calm, and how the walls shifted when it was alert. But nothing could prepare them for the next challenge. It started with a faint signal picked up on Owen's scanner. He was studying the asteroid fragments when he noticed a large energy spike moving toward them. At first, it looked like another patrol ship, but the size of it shocked them. Jake, Lily, you need to see this, Owen said, pointing at the screen. Jake leaned over, eyes widening. That's enormous, way bigger than any freighter we've ever seen. Is that a cruiser? Lily shook her head, her voice tight. It's a warship, and it's moving fast, too fast for normal engines. Owen's fingers danced over the controls, trying to trace its path. It's not just moving fast, it's hunting. It picked up our signature, and it's coming straight for us. Jake's pulse quickened. So what do we do? Rusty can't outrun a cruiser like that, can it? Rusty seemed to answer before anyone could speak. The ship pulsed, and the crystals along the walls brightened, as if preparing. Gravity shifted inside the corridors, tugging slightly at their feet, and the hull vibrated with a quiet, steady hum. "It's ready," Owen whispered. "It knows what's coming." As the massive warship appeared from behind a cluster of asteroids, its weapons locked on Rusty. Laser beams cut through space, ripping small chunks from the nearby rocks. Rusty pulsed again, the walls of the cargo bay glowing brightly. "Hold on," Jake said, gripping the controls. "This is going to be close," Rusty responded instantly. The ship twisted in space, bending its hull and creating openings through which asteroids passed harmlessly. Sections of the crystal veins shifted outward, forming protective barriers that absorbed incoming fire. For the first time, the humans realized Rusty was not just alive, it was fighting. Lily's hands shook slightly as she monitored the cruiser's weapons. It's incredible. Rusty is defending us, and we haven't even touched a weapon." Owen nodded, eyes wide. "It's using the environment, the asteroids, the gravity shifts. It's making the field work for us. It's thinking, adapting, predicting." The warship fired again, more aggressively this time, trying to corner them. Rusty reacted instantly, pushing gravity to create sudden turns, drawing the human crew along, like dancers. The walls bent and shifted, creating small shockwaves that pushed incoming asteroids into the cruiser's path. Rocks smashed against its hull, forcing the ship to slow down and fire defensively. Jake shouted over the hum of Rusty's engines. "This is insane! Rusty is outsmarting a warship." Lily laughed, a mixture of fear and excitement. "I can't believe this. How is a junk ship doing this?" Owen's fingers flew over the scanner. "It's not a junk ship. It's alive, and it's choosing to protect us. That's why it can do this." The battle continued for what felt like hours. Rusty shifted and adapted with every move the warship made. It formed walls of crystal to block fire, altered gravity to dodge attacks, and even created new tunnels within the cargo bay to store small asteroids as defensive projectiles. Each time the warship tried to predict their movement, Rusty had already adjusted, using instinct and intelligence that the humans could barely comprehend. At one point, the warship fired a large energy cannon, aiming directly at the ship's core. Rusty reacted instantly. The core compartment expanded, the crystals forming a shield that absorbed most of the impact. The rest of the blast was redirected through the tunnels, sending asteroids flying like missiles toward the warship. Jake's jaw dropped. "It just turned our rocks into weapons." Lily's eyes widened. "We're winning without even trying." Owen's voice was tense. "We're not safe yet. That ship is big. It can adapt, and we don't know how it will respond next." The humans realized that Rusty was not only alive but learning. Every attack the warship made, Rusty anticipated and adapted. Sections of the ship bent, reformed, and even merged with the crystal mass to create new defensive structures. The living asteroid inside was not only protecting them, it was evolving. Jake leaned back in his seat, a grin spreading across his face. "I knew we made the right choice. Rusty is incredible. Nothing in the galaxy has anything like this." Lily nodded, though her expression was serious. "Yes, but we can't get cocky. Rusty is amazing, but we still have to be careful. One mistake and the cruiser could still destroy us." As the battle continued, the humans noticed something new. The crystal veins began to glow with a soft blue light, forming shapes that resembled pathways, or maps. Rusty was showing them something, guiding them toward an escape route through the asteroid belt. Owen understood immediately. "It's teaching us how to work with it. If we follow these paths, we can get out safely, and maybe even lose the warship in the belt." Jake nodded and followed Rusty's guidance. The ship twisted and turned, moving in ways that seemed impossible. The warship tried to follow, but the dense asteroid field and Rusty's adaptive movements made it impossible. Rocks slammed into its hull, forcing it to retreat slowly. After several tense minutes, the warship finally gave up and disappeared into the distance. Rusty's hum slowed, the walls of the cargo bay returning to normal. The ship's pulse was steady, calm, and satisfied, almost like it was smiling. Lily let out a long breath. We made it. Rusty saved us. Jake laughed, still shaking from the adrenaline. We didn't just survive. We thrived. Rusty isn't just a ship, it's a partner. A living partner. Owen smiled, though he looked exhausted. And we have to respect that. It's powerful, yes, but it's also aware. It's learning, thinking, making decisions. We're not controlling it, we're working with it. The victory gave them confidence, but it also came with a warning. The galaxy was not safe, and anyone who saw Rusty's power would want it for themselves. They had to be careful, clever, and united. In the following days, they continued to explore Rusty's capabilities. They discovered that the living mass inside could manipulate energy to create shields, alter gravity to lift heavy objects, and even form temporary limbs from the crystals to interact with the environment. Jake and Lily began experimenting with resource collection. Small asteroids could be pulled into the cargo bay, broken down into metals, and stored efficiently. The ship responded to each command intuitively, adapting its structure to maximize storage and safety. Owen worked on communication. By observing the pulses of light and vibrations, he learned to understand Rusty's intentions. The ship could show caution, excitement, curiosity, and even concern. It was a living intelligence, and it was teaching them how to be partners. But with each day, the humans realized the galaxy was watching. Reports of a living ship that could outmaneuver warships spread quickly. Traders whispered rumors of a ship that mined asteroids without tools and defended its crew with impossible skill. The more the humans learned about Rusty, the more they understood that they were no longer just explorers, they were guardians of something that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. One evening, as they floated near a small moon to rest and repair minor damages, Jake looked out at the stars. "We've come a long way in a short time," he said. "Rusty has changed everything. But I have a feeling the galaxy is about to test us again." Lily nodded, her eyes on the glowing crystals inside the cargo bay. "We have to be ready. Rusty is powerful, but we're still learning. We can't let anyone take it from us. Or worse, hurt it." Owen leaned back in his seat, deep in thought. "It's more than just power. Rusty is alive. It chooses to be with us. That's something the galaxy has never seen. And that means we have a responsibility to protect it, to learn from it, and to prove that humans can be trusted by something greater than themselves." Jake smiled, determination in his eyes. "Then we do it. We protect Rusty. We explore the galaxy. And we show everyone that humans and a living ship can be unstoppable when we work together." The stars stretched endlessly before them. Rusty pulsed quietly, as if listening, ready for the next challenge. The humans had survived a battle that should have destroyed them. They had gained a partner that was alive, intelligent, and powerful. And they knew, deep down, that the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The adventure was far from over. Bigger challenges awaited, and they would have to trust Rusty completely. The warship they had faced was just the beginning. Soon, larger threats would arrive, and the humans would discover the true power of the living asteroid mine. Inside Rusty. For now, Jake, Lily, and Owen rested, studying the ship, learning from it, and preparing for the trials ahead. Rusty had chosen them, and together, they were becoming something extraordinary. The galaxy had never seen anything like them, and it would never be the same again. The galaxy was restless. Word of the living ship spread faster than Jake, Lily, and Owen could have imagined. Traders, miners, and military scouts whispered about Rusty, the junk ship that was alive. Some were afraid, some were curious, but most were greedy. They wanted Rusty for themselves. Jake leaned over the controls, staring at the starfield ahead. We've handled small patrols. We've dodged one warship. But the reports, they say a fleet is coming. A big one. Full military. They don't want to negotiate, they want Rusty. Lily tightened her hands on the console. How many ships? Owen's face grew serious as he scanned the readings. At least 20 cruisers. Maybe more. And they're coming in formation. They know what Rusty can do. They think they can control it or destroy it. Jake shook his head, a mixture of fear and excitement. Good. Let them try. Rusty isn't just a ship. It's alive. It's smart. And it's on our side. Rusty pulsed, almost like it understood. The walls of the cargo bay shimmered, the crystals glowing brighter. Gravity shifted gently beneath their feet, a sign the ship was preparing for what was coming. The crew worked fast. They reinforced what little armor the ship had, checked supplies, and coordinated with Rusty in ways they were only beginning to understand. Every move, every pulse of the crystal walls was a message. Rusty was aware of the approaching fleet and was ready to protect its crew. As the fleet appeared on the scanners, a chill ran down Jake's spine. The ships were massive, their weapons arrays overwhelming. There was no way a single ship could face them and survive. But Rusty wasn't a normal ship. Are we ready? Jake asked, looking at Lily and Owen. Lily nodded, her face set with determination. As ready as we'll ever be. Owen swallowed hard. Rusty is with us. That's all that matters. The first shots came almost immediately. The fleet fired long-range energy beams, creating massive explosions among the nearby asteroids. Rusty pulsed in response. The crystals on the walls shifted, creating shields that absorbed the attacks. Gravity, inside the ship, bent subtly, pushing the humans to the floor as the hull twisted to deflect incoming fire. Jake laughed, despite the danger. Here we go. Hang on. Rusty moved like water, flowing through the asteroid field, dodging and weaving with impossible speed. Sections of the hull extended outward, forming sharp edges that could ricochet asteroids into the path of the attacking fleet. Rocks collided with cruisers, damaging their hulls, and sending debris into the void. Look at it! Lily shouted, pointing at the glowing tunnels inside the cargo bay. It's controlling everything. The rocks, the gravity, even the shields. Owen's hands flew over the controls. It's not just defending us. It's attacking. Rusty is creating weapons from the environment. It's alive in the truest sense. The fleet tried to adapt, firing coordinated salvos. But Rusty anticipated every move. The ship bent, shifted, and twisted, creating barriers, traps, and openings that the humans had never imagined. Tiny crystal fragments formed spears and hammers, smashing into the fleet's hulls. Asteroids were lifted and thrown like missiles. The living mass inside the ship was a storm of intelligence and power, and the humans were in perfect sync with it. Jake shouted over the hum of Rusty's systems. We're not just surviving, we're winning. Lily smiled, though fear still lingered. It's incredible, but we have to stay sharp. There's too many of them. Owen's face was pale but focused. Rusty knows that. It's learning faster than we are. Every strike, every maneuver, it's adapting. As the battle raged, Rusty revealed something new. The crystal walls inside the cargo bay extended upward and outward, forming large, glowing conduits. Energy flowed through them, like rivers of light. The ship had discovered a way to harness the raw energy of space itself. Jake's eyes widened. It's using the stars? Yes, Owen said, awe in his voice. It's drawing energy from the environment, from the asteroids, and even from the fleet's attacks. Rusty is turning everything into power for itself. The fleet began to retreat in confusion. They had expected a normal ship, something they could destroy or capture. Rusty was something else entirely, a living entity, intelligent, adaptive, and far stronger than anything they had faced. Lily laughed in disbelief. They didn't even stand a chance. Rusty didn't just fight them, it outsmarted them completely. Jake grinned, heart pounding. And they'll tell everyone about it. The galaxy will learn that humans can do things no one else can, that we can partner with something alive and make it unstoppable. But the victory was only the beginning. Rusty pulsed gently, guiding them toward a nearby nebula. The ship's tunnels shifted again, creating new paths and compartments. The living mass inside seemed to want them to follow, to explore further. Owen nodded slowly. It's not just fighting. Rusty wants to explore, to grow. It's showing us that there's more out there, more than battles, more than fleets. There's a universe waiting for us. Jake's hands tightened on the controls. Then let's go. Let's see what Rusty wants to show us. As they entered the nebula, the ship seemed to come alive in a new way. The walls of the cargo bay shimmered with all colors of the spectrum, creating a soft glow. Gravity shifted gently, and the crystal tunnels rearranged themselves to create a smooth path. Energy pulsed through the ship, strong and steady. Rusty was preparing them for something bigger, something beyond their imagination. Lily leaned against the wall, smiling. It's beautiful. I've never seen anything like this. Rusty isn't just a ship. It's alive in a way I can barely understand. Owen nodded. And it chose us. That's the most incredible part. We didn't find it. It found us. And it decided we were worthy. Jake smiled, determination in his eyes. Then we honor that trust. We protect it, we work with it, and we show the galaxy that humans can be more than they ever expected. In the following days, they explored the nebula. Rusty led them to rich asteroid fields, collecting rare minerals and resources with ease. The living mass inside grew stronger, its intelligence deepening. The humans learned to communicate in subtle ways, pulses of light, vibrations through the floor, and shifts in gravity. Rusty was teaching them how to work with it, to think like it did, and to understand the universe in a way they never could alone. But even as they explored, danger loomed. Other fleets were watching. Other forces, curious about the living ship. Rumors spread quickly. A junk ship that was alive, that could outfight a fleet, and that could harness the energy of space itself. One day, as they floated near a dense asteroid field, a signal came through. A large cruiser hailed them. The voice was sharp and commanding. Unregistered vessel, we demand you surrender immediately. You are in restricted space. Do not resist. Jake grinned. They don't know who they're dealing with. Lily frowned. This could be dangerous. Rusty might not want to fight again. Owen smiled faintly. Rusty will respond. And we'll be ready. We've learned a lot, but the ship has learned even more. This is its decision, as much as ours. When the cruiser fired, Rusty reacted instantly. The crystals pulsed. Shields formed, and gravity shifted. Asteroids were thrown into the path of the attackers, and energy beams were deflected with precision. The cruiser tried to coordinate, but Rusty was faster, smarter, and more adaptive than anything they had faced before. The battle ended quickly. The cruiser retreated, badly damaged and confused. Rusty pulsed softly, as if satisfied. The humans were alive, unscathed, and more in awe than ever. Jake laughed, slumping into the controls. We're unstoppable together. Rusty isn't just alive, it's amazing. And it chose us. The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but humans and Rusty are going to change everything. Lily smiled, resting against the wall. We've come so far in so little time, but I have a feeling there's more out there. Rusty wants us to go further, to explore more, to grow. Owen nodded, watching the glowing tunnels inside the cargo bay. And we will. Together. We'll protect Rusty, learn from it, and show the galaxy what humans can do when they work with something greater than themselves. As they moved deeper into the nebula, the stars stretched endlessly before them. Rusty pulsed gently, guiding them, teaching them, and protecting them. The humans had survived battles, outsmarted fleets, and formed a bond with something alive and powerful. They had become more than explorers, they were legends in the making. The galaxy had never seen anything like them. A living ship, a human crew, and a partnership that could change everything. And Rusty pulsed softly, ready for the next adventure.